Hey guys, Matt here with Let Me Learn TV, and today we're going to talk about PolarPro GoPro filters. So I got 3 of these. I got the Polarizer and then two different neutral density filters. So we're going to try those out, see what they do, see how they work, and see how well they work. So the first one we're going to do today is the Polarizer filter. So that's this one right here. These are their skeleton housing for lenses. They also make waterproof housing lenses that you stick on top of the waterproof housing, but we're going to do these ones today. They should work very similarly. Now, the way polarizer filters work is they split up light between the vertically polarized and horizontally polarized light. Now, the cool thing is most reflections and glares off of water, snow, glass, etc. is vertically polarized. So by using one of these, you can cut down on that glare. So we're going to see just how well that works, and then hopefully get some actual footage later that shows how it works in real life. So what we have here today, 2 pieces of reflective glass and a nice kiddie swimming pool with a dog drinking out of it. So we're going to shake that up so you can see the glare. This is without any lens on it right now, so you should see a bit of reflections coming off of it. Reflections coming off of the glass. And now what we're going to do is, while we're looking at the water, I'm going to put the lens on 90 degrees off of where it's supposed to be. So there's the lens on. Now it should look very similar right now. Should look very similar because the filter is not oriented in the direction it's designed for. So it's 90 degrees off. And what we're going to do is, while we look at this water, shake it up a little bit. While we look at this water and see the reflections, I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. Now they have a logo on the top of the lens so that you can tell which way it's supposed to be oriented. When the logo is pointed at the sky, which like it is now, that is how it's designed to be oriented. So now you should see a lot less of the reflections coming off of the glass and the water. Alright, let's mix up the water again. I'm just mixing up the water to make it more realistic. If you're in a river, a lake, or an ocean, the water's not going to be perfectly still, making a mirror. So here we go again. Turn it back to where it's not supposed to be. So there's the incorrect orientation, so you should see some reflections again. And now I'm going to rotate it. Right there, you should see all that glare disappear. Now I'll have to look at the footage here in a bit to make sure it's actually showing like I think it will, but hopefully it works pretty well. Alright, here's the glass we're looking at. So we'll put it down here. Let's put it right here and look at the glass. Now I'm going to turn it back to the incorrect orientation. There it is, so you should see the glare again. And now the glare should disappear a little bit. There we go. Alright, so that's what they're for. Hopefully I'll get some real footage to show you guys how it's used in real life, but that should be a pretty good demo of it, so I'll go check it out. Next we're going to move on to the neutral density filters. Alright, so I got the rest of the footage for the neutral density filters, and I wanted to explain some things before I showed that footage. So first off, the polarizer filter is good just in general for general videography and photography to cut down on glare. It's not really specific to any application in particular. It's just kind of useful. It can help the contrast and the color and stuff like that as well. The neutral density filters, their primary purpose is to slow down the shutter speed of both photos and video. So in photos, you can look up these examples, by the way, online. I don't have any good ones to show you, but they are all over the place. So if you have say you mount a camera on a car and you're moving down the road and you're in really bright sunlight, normally the GoPro will auto adjust the shutter speed to as fast as possible and to make things as sharp and crisp as possible. But if it does that, the picture will come through looking like the car is almost not moving at all. It'll take the picture so quickly that it'll look very crisp and good. But sometimes that isn't always the preferred option. Sometimes people want a little bit of motion blur on the scenery around the car and make the car crisp. So they've mounted the camera to that. The car's not moving a whole lot, but everything around it is. So if you slow down that shutter speed, you can get some motion blur and everything around it. The car will still be very crisp. That's just one example of why people use it. Again, you can look that up. PolarPro's website actually has some examples of that particular case that look very good, so you can look that up. The other primary use of neutral density filters is to cut down on what's called the rolling shutter jello effect that happens when you vibrate and shake a GoPro camera or any real camera for the most part, any cheaper camera for the most part. Basically, the rolling shutter means that it starts taking the picture at the top of the frame and then works its way down. It does that very quickly, but with really slight shutter vibration, stuff like that. The image isn't the same when it starts at the top and gets to the bottom. The image may have changed from the top to the bottom. And it's a very slight change, but when you do it in video, you start to see what's called a jello effect, and stuff will start to do wavy stuff, and it's different for different vibrations and stuff like that. But look up rolling shutter jello effect on YouTube and you'll see what I'm talking about. I asked someone to take some video for me to demonstrate this on his quadcopter, but his quadcopter had a very good, effective GoPro vibration reducing mount. And so the original purpose of these before and after shots was somewhat eliminated. So you're not going to see the effect I was going for, but you can still see a difference in how the GoPro adjusts for lighting and handles those situations anyway. So again, I highly recommend looking up rolling shutter jello effect and the effect of ND filters against that. It does help, but so do vibration reducing mounts. So anyway, without any further ado, we're going to start with just some flying around with a completely clear. This is just the GoPro protective clear lens, so you should see no difference to a normal GoPro, and then we'll move on. So here's the perfectly clear protective lens. Alright, so now that we've got the before shot, let's go ahead and look at the polarizer filter. Now, the polarizer filter does darken things a little bit, but that's not its primary intention. The primary intention is to cut down on glare, and since he's flying around in all sorts of directions and not over a really reflective object like water or snow, you're not going to notice that part a whole lot in this video. And I forgot to tell him which way to orient the logo, so that might not be perfect either. But this should look slightly better and just kind of dimmer. So we'll go with the polarizer filter. neutral density filters. Now we have two neutral density filters. One of them is called a 2-stop, one of them is a 3-stop. So the 2-stop is just not quite as dark as the 3-stop. They make other levels. I think they make like 8-stop and 9-stop. But these are the ones that are recommended for uses on quadcopters and things like that, to cut down on vibrations. So we're going to try these out. Again, you won't see a whole lot of the vibration difference, but that's okay. We'll still get a good look at what these lenses look like in real life. So here's the 2-stop. And now the super dark 3-stop neutral density filter. Just for fun, we're going to try and put all 4 of these kind of side by side so you can see a direct difference. All these videos were taken around the same time of day, on the same day, so you can see direct comparison of what these four filters look like. So I'll go ahead and put those up, and you can see the comparison of all of these guys in this order. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that. This wasn't a perfect demonstration of what the filters are capable of. I don't have to my disposal every application of these lenses and stuff like that, but feel free to look up more videos on YouTube. There are lots of different applications for these things and demonstrations of how they can be used. So I recommend you to look around. I'll post some links in the description down below to show you different ways that they can be used. And if you like this video, feel free to like it, share it with your friends, and make sure you subscribe to Let Me Learn TV, so you can see what we do next time. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.